What's up, everybody? Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY. Why? We're live in the home studio today. As always, Philly with John Marks, brought to you by BetParx. Yes, we have a parlay of the day coming up a little bit later on the show. All right, so we're obviously going to start off with the Phillies. I'm juiced up. But later on in the show, about halfway through the show, my old radio buddy, Jason Myrtetus, is going to join us. And we're not going to talk about the Flyers or that. We're going to talk about cancer because Jason has cancer. I don't know if a lot of people knew that. He's been vocal about it, and he's talked about it. It's pretty much what he tweets about because that's his life right now. So we'll get into more of that with Jason, and we'll talk about it with Jason coming up at about a half hour from now or so. But man, listen, it's 162 games, and I am still very much in the mode of treating these Phillies games almost like they're Eagles games and they're NFL games. Not that I'm overreacting when they lose. They haven't lost a lot of games. The Phillies have been very, very good to start the season, but still at 8-3, like I'm still very much every night that they play, it's like, oh yeah, I'm ready. Let's go Phillies. And last night was the Taijuan Walker start. And we were wondering what we were going to get out of him. And you got a really, really good start considering he didn't even make it 5 innings, but he blanked the Braves. Taijuan Walker, ERA, was this on your bingo card? 0.0, right? Yeah, hasn't given up a run. So that was great. But man, this is one of these character wins for the Phils because they really needed to grind this out. The Braves aren't clicking on all cylinders right now, but still, anytime you're on the road and you cough up a lead and you go down and you battle back and then you battle back again, I mean, that's a really telling and character win for the Phillies. And they did it last night, and they needed the bullpen. They needed a couple of guys that, I don't think you were really thinking a lot about coming into the season. Maybe you should have been with the problems with the bullpen, but man, so last night, Taijuan was good. His stuff's live. He's for his commands good. He went over on strikeouts. See, Tyler, damn it, if we would have had the over/under of Taijuan Walker 4.5 strikeouts, we might have taken that because he had 5 strikeouts and he didn't go long enough for he didn't pitch enough to get the win because they tried to get him out of 5, but then he ends up loading the bases in the 5th inning. But Ruiz works out of a jam, and Taijuan Walker right now is giving you everything that you could hope and expect for. Forget about the contract. He's not going to live up to the contract. He's never going to be an $18 million a year starting pitcher, right? But the fact that he's been able to step in with Ranger Suarez being out with an injury, and I mean, I think he's making a valid case to stay in the rotation, especially with the way the bullpen is performing right now with Ranger being able to move to the bullpen. I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. That's what I would do. But because Taijuan Walker has given you enough right now as a 5th starter in a really, really good rotation on a really, really good team. So thumbs up. Taijuan Walker for president. We need a Taijuan club, right? Like you had the Duck Pond for Brandon Duckworth. You had the Wolf Pack. You had Sal's Pals. What are we doing for Taijuan Walker? Let's be positive with Taijuan this year. The bullpen. Jose Ruiz gets 4 outs. Joe Ross gets 5 outs. And I know these guys coughed up the lead and gave up some runs. The fact that you're on the road in high leverage situations and you got 4 outs out of Jose Ruiz, who came in with the bases loaded in the 5th, and then Joe Ross came in and he let one hang, gave up a home run. His stuff's really good. I've been impressed with what I've seen so far out of Ross. And then Alvarado always makes it interesting, and he did. But a 4-out save. Hey, man, does he throw anything other than 101-mile sinkers? It's what it seems like last night. He was like, yeah, the slider's not really working. I'm just going to throw gas every time. How many? I would love to know. Tyler is our stat guy. How many pitches at 101 or 100 did he throw last night of the 30 pitches that he threw? Because 21 for strikes. Man, when he's confident, you bring in a lefty, and you saw it when there's a lefty. He is very, very difficult. 18 of his 30 pitches were over 100 miles an hour. Wow. Isn't it great when you have one of those guys? We don't boo Alvarado when he throws 99 or 98 like Billy Wagner. We learned Billy Wagner didn't understand it. It was a sarcastic boo when he didn't throw 100. Alvarado's he's just straight up throwing heat, man. Unbelievable. So, like, the pitching staff did what they were supposed to do, held the Brave to 3 runs. Walker was good. Alvarado, Ross, Ruiz. Bryce Harper last night in a big spot after the Phillies had fallen behind. That very easily could have been, or at least like the way I felt after, and it was the 6th inning. It was they were actually lucky to get out with just 2 runs. But they fall behind. You're going into the 7th inning. It's 2-1. It was deflating. So what's going through my mind as the Phillies fan is, all right, well, they lost last night. Oh, Jesus. Now they're going to lose tonight. Oh, God, you're not going to get swept in Atlanta because you have Schwellenbach going in game 3 going today. And then Bryce Harper, boom, home run. Phillies get the lead. Braves come back and tie it. But, oh, yeah, top of the 9th inning. Trea Turner. We didn't need to give him a standing ovation to get him to hit his first home run of the season. But just made it out. Nice line drive. He was looking for it. He turned on it. First pitch swinging. Boom. Phillies win 4-3. A really, really good win last night for the Phils. And we're going to get a really good pitching matchup this afternoon, which we'll talk about coming up here in a second. All right, some question marks heading into the season. And this portion of the program brought to you by GLAT Hair Restoration, GLATHairMM.com, 610-980-4000. I have a hat on today, but my hair is fabulous, as everybody knows. Question marks heading into this season. And there were more than a few in still, albeit a very good Phillies team. Bullpen. Yikes. Alvarado's not going to be available. They didn't want to use Kirkering last night for good reason. Alvarado's not going to be available today. The fact that you have to go to Joe Ross and Ruiz, Ruiz probably pitches there anyway, but you have no confidence in Romano. And by the way, Rob Thompson shouldn't put him in there in any leverage situation right now. He may even be injured with the velocity being down, but you can't go to Romano. So the bullpen right now, while they have time to figure it out, and I saw a lot of people on social media saying, well, make this trade, make that trade. Trades don't usually happen in the first 20, 30 games of the season. They just don't. So internally, farm system, and this is something we can talk about maybe even tomorrow, but like they're going to have to find some internal candidates. They may have to look at a AAA veteran that you could pluck off a roster. Like he may have an out in his contract if he's not on the major league roster, let's say by May 1st. So Dave Dombrowski, he hasn't done a great job with the bullpen this offseason. And you look at what Jeff Hoffman's doing up there in Toronto. There is time. The Phillies are 8-3, but damn the bullpen. The question mark heading into the season, I would say it's even worse than we were worried about. All right, Brandon Marsh. Yikes. Is he an everyday center fielder or a left fielder? No. Can he be a platoon plus guy where he's getting 400 to 450 at bats? Yes. Right now, he is struggling. 0 for his last 17. If you go back to some numbers from last year, man, not only does he not look like a platoon plus player, you wonder if he's just a platoon player. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It is. Yeah, and it's baseball. It's a slump. Doesn't mean he's going to be like this. But don't we already kind of know what Brandon Marsh is, where he is a good major league outfielder that's not an everyday starter. He's probably close. But outside of that, is he like maybe a little bit above major league average when it comes to what we're talking about? Not a platoon bat, but pretty close to a platoon bat. And the more he struggles against left-handed pitching, the more he does become a platoon outfielder. So Brandon Marsh kind of so far, you're like, yeah, not the start you were looking for. And then last but certainly not least is Alec Bohm. Dating back to last season's All-Star break, Bohm has 4 home runs and 244 at-bats. This is Bob Wankel from Crossing Broad that tweeted this out. Yesterday, and he's hitting 237 since the All-Star break. And I know Rob Thompson has pointed to, hey, he was an All-Star starter last year. I believe in him. But going back to the All-Star break last year, he hasn't been good. He was 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts last night and poor defense. His body language is bad. I know a lot has been made of his body language in sports radio over the last couple days, and there's been a lot of, get him out of here. I hate Alec Bohm. Listen, the Phillies tried to trade Alec Bohm in the offseason for a reason, part of which is that body language that you're looking at. I think they've grown tired of the immaturity and the moping and his behavior. Not that that makes him a bad guy, but they weren't going to give him away, and they were looking for value in return, as they should have been. And when they didn't get that, they say, hey, we're going to pivot and bring him back. He certainly hasn't made you feel good about the beginning of that season. It's a confidence thing with him. We've seen him earlier in the season said, I hate this bleeping place. I would have never thought he would have turned it around, and he did. He had a really, really good half of a season last year. We see players that get hot for half a season and then make an all-star team, and then they don't do anything the second half of the season. Don Brown did it. Tyler Green did it. 2 guys that were, like very, very highly regarded prospects that couldn't put together a full season. Alec Bohm's better than that. You know what he needs more than anything else right now, Alec Bohm? A hug. He needs a hug. And I don't know if he's still dating the ESPN betting analyst girl, or that's been been his problem since he started dating her. His batting average is terrible. I kid, kind of. But, he needs a hug. And, I mean, listen, I was a part of the movement that got Trea Turner a standing ovation, and it worked for a little bit. Right? I know the Philly captain claimed it. I know Jack claimed it. I mean, Tyler Zuli, listen, we can right now, we can put it on Twitter, and it means that it's then ours, and then we can be filmed in a documentary about it. Does Alec Bohm need a hug? Does Alec Bohm need a hug from the fans with a standing ovation when he comes back? And not like the Trea Turner part of it. I guess what I'm saying is that let's try to be positive and get this guy going, because if the Phillies are going to win a World Series this year, they can't have Alec Bohm being inconsistent and being cold and everything else. So I am moving forward with an Alec Bohm standing ovation. I'm not, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I don't know what else you do right here. Rob Thompson had said that, and I'm quoting him after the game here, and I didn't see sound of it because they were on the road. And he said about Bohm, he said, he's thinking about it. He'll get out of it. He was an all-star third baseman for the National League. I'm not going to pull the shoot on him just yet, despite what others might want. I still have trust in him. So when you sit him because you think it's going to benefit him. That's when you would sit him. And he's not at that point right now. He's got to be close. But the baseball manager is called a manager because there's not the X's and O's of football. There's not, to a much lesser extent, in basketball, and I can't even speak to hockey. But you're managing the clubhouse. You're managing players. You're trying to get the most and the best out of players, knowing when to sit a guy, knowing when to push a guy, knowing when to kick a guy in the ass, right? That's why he's called a manager. And right now, getting Alec Bohm out of whatever rut this is, because you can see it. It is so mental right now. When he's up at the plate, he is swinging. He is missing. There's a lot going on up here. And when there's stuff going on up there, you can't be at the plate when the pitcher's entering his stretch and you're thinking, oh, bleep, oh, bleep, oh, bleep. Or is he throwing a fastball here? Is he going all speed? Because that's what he looks like when he's up there right now. It happens to the best players. It happens to Bryce. When guys get in their head up at the plate, that's when they go in the slumps. Alec Bohm is in a really, really bad spot right now. All right, I mentioned Jason Myrtetus coming up here later on. So about 15 or so minutes from now, we have our parlay of the day coming up as well. 76ers with a big win last night, and more on the Phillies. Big win last night. It was a lot of fun. Philly with John Marks. We are back in 2 and 2. Don't you go anywhere. Let's talk about Empire. We were talking about this with BG, Black Gritty, because he needs new flooring, right? So maybe you need new carpeting. Maybe, as Black Gritty had said, he's got 2 puppies. He couldn't just get 1 puppy. one pit bull puppy. He had to get 2 pit bull puppies, right? Because then they can play each other. No, play with each other. No, it creates that much of a mess, right? So if you're looking for new flooring, right, I know what you're thinking, because I'm a guy that likes to save money as well. And like, well, I'll go to the big box store and I'll get flooring, and then maybe one of the subcontractors they use can do it, or maybe I'll find somebody of my own to do it. But then you're like, all right, well, what do I want? Like, what's the best thing for what I'm looking for? I have dogs. I want something that's, like not super expensive, but also is going to hold up. So I'm not doing this again in 5 years. And then Larry over in plumbing has to come over and help you because there's nobody that's working in flooring that day, right? We've all been there. All right. Don't do that. Don't mess around with that. You want to deal with experts. And that's why Empire Today is your best bet for a new floor. They live and they breathe flooring. So if that's all they do, guess what? That's all they do. So they're experts and they know exactly what they're talking about. So check it out. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home. All right. So you pick the flooring that's right for you. You pick the coloring. You're doing it in your home. So they take precise measurements. They have software to where you can see what it'll look like in your space, right? Measurements, boom. Here's what it'll look like. Here's what your furniture is. Like, why wouldn't you do that? With Empire Today, you're getting clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing, and you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. And when you get that free in-home estimate, how about $350 off with promo code PHLY on your project? All right, so a free in-home estimate at empiretoday.com. The code you're going to use is PHLY if you decide to go with it. They come out to you. You don't have to worry about anything. Like empiretoday.com gets everything that you need. And remember, PHLY. Why? Because you'll save $350. Empire Today. Hooah. All right. Rothman Orthopedics. Actually, I was watching the game last night, and I saw a commercial for Rothman Orthopedics later on in the game. I'm like, oh, Rothman. And it made me feel good because there's so many people out there. And I have friends, I have family. Maniac Malloy, who's on the program, he went to Rothman for his shoulder. Really, if you're looking for specialized care, if you're looking for the best in the business, if you're saying to yourself, hey, listen, like my knee's really bothering me and it's not getting better. Yeah, like go to Rothman. It's like, I believe me, guys, I get it. We're hard-headed. It'll get better. It'll get better. I'm not going to go to the doctor. Everything. No, like if it's not getting better, if it's taking away with what you're doing on in your life, if it bothers you to be active, if it bothers you, if your knee's aching, if you're living on ibuprofen, don't do it anymore. Rothman Orthopedics, rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Over 30 convenient offices. That's urgent cares and walk-in centers. I've done it all. There's a location up in Limerick. Physical therapy right there. So when I got diagnosed with a frozen shoulder after waiting for a year for it to get better, PT right there, 6 weeks of physical therapy, and the shoulder's been great ever since. Rothman has participated in thousands and thousands of groundbreaking research and clinical trials with the goal of advancing knowledge, developing treatments, and improving outcomes for the benefit of their patients. So it's everything. A one-stop shop, MRIs, x-rays, bracing, physical therapy. If you have a broken bone, if you have like, oh man, like my knee's really screwed up, rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more. And you can make an appointment today. rothmanortho.com/PHLY. Why? All right, we're back. Philly, John Marks. Big Phillies win last night. Tyler, you put up a graphic earlier that I saw, and it was already when I was done talking about the bullpen, but I want to bring it back up here. Or not a graphic. It was a comment from one of our live chatters that said that maybe don't bring the reliever back in for a second inning because they got out of that first inning. Yeah. Gave up runs after being sent out for another inning. Maybe don't do that. So, Scott, here's my question to you. What would you have done then? Because if they came in for two batters or one batter in that case, like, what were you going to do? They're short on the bullpen. Romano's not on the DL or he's not in the minors. So if you're not going to use him, he's taking up a roster space. They didn't want to use Kirkering because of his usage so far. They wanted to give him a night off. And at some point, maybe they would have had to if they went in the extras or something like that. Believe me, I agree. I would have much rather not have to bring a guy out for a second inning unless that's something that you see that he's good with. You really had no choice last night. It was kind of desperation. So that was sometimes you have to do, even though you know it's probably not the best, the best decision, but like they gave up another run, I know, but they ended up getting a win. I just don't think you had any better options. Fit That CEO had a Bohm comment right there. I tend to agree with Fit That CEO. It was about Bohm. It's still early in the season. It just seems like, and I'm not telling you it's not justified based on what we saw at the second half of last year, but I am going to, and I don't have to fill 4 hours of radio a day, so I don't have to be like, all right, I'm going to come out, I'm going to crush Bohm, or I'm going to be supportive of Bohm, because you know what? Like, it would be hard to do that for 4 hours based on how he's playing. But sitting here right now, like, Alec Bohm is still a good major league player. Alec Bohm is still a good major league player. Is he an all-star? Probably not. But for this team, they need him to be productive. And I think he can be productive. Unfortunately, he is very much up here. He's kind of all over the place with his emotions and his behavior. Not making him a bad guy again, but the Phillies look to trade him. I look to trade him in, I would say, large part to that. So instead of tearing him down and being negative, like a lot of people are going to do today, right? Like, let's not do it. Let's realize that he's struggling right now, and let's get him out. Let's try to help get him out of it, because the Phillies are still winning games. They're not 3-8. There's no reason to now freak out. They're not 3-8. They're 8-3, and let's win the series. Hopefully, they can win the series today against the Braves. But I am not going to overdo it with Alec Bohm, just like I didn't yesterday with Johan Rojas. He had a terrible play in center field. Right, that wasn't the reason that they lost the game. The bigger thing with Rojas is, can he be a good enough player otherwise to be your everyday or a starting outfielder for you in most cases. One other Phillies comment here, and it was actually about Bryson Stott, and I appreciate you bringing that up in the chat, because one of the question marks that we did have was about Bryson Stott. It's like, all right, Stotty, you were looking for a breakout year last year out of him. Can he become an all-star level player? And it was pretty clear that last year he was not going to be an all-star level player. He has had some really, really big plays this year so far. So it was good to see again last night, Stott. And I think he's comfortable hitting behind JT. Had 2 hits last night, had a great play in right field. And so far, the question marks that we had going into spring training and then going into the regular season, Stott hasn't been great, but he's had big plays in big spots, and that's what I was looking for with him. All right, so the Sixers won last night. Damn it, Tyler! If you could get your parlays going on the right foot, then we'd be better off. But I forget you had last night.
I can't buy a bet, man. I'm home today. I'm on dad duty this morning, so I'm gonna have the baby make the bet, because it can't be any worse.
Please.
It can't be any worse. I mean, I haven't won a bet since Friday. I think I'm 1-5 in my last 6. Like, at this point, what's the difference? I'm just gonna have him point to the screen and see what happens.
So my friend Brian Haddad Sludge, who used to be on WIP, he's been doing Chicago radio now for a long time. What he did with his daughter with the Bear, because he's in Chicago with the Bears and like another team, she would crawl. So he put like a Bears picture and then the other team picture, and she would crawl, and whatever she would pick, he would choose. So maybe you can do that.
Yeah, he's not quite crawling just yet, but once he does, we'll get there.
All right, there you go. Yeah, that's actually good. All right, so
he'll be crawling by the summer, right? That's peak baseball season. I'm just gonna start putting up two logos and see what happens.
Yep. Yes, let's do it. All right, well, so we can do it. Let's do our BetParx Parlay of the day. There it is. All right. Well, Tyler, I had the because I'm a very sharp basketball mind, NBA mind.
Yeah, as we've all known.
I had the Sixers last night, and I was so confident in the win. I'm like, this is the game they win. The Wizards stink. This is going to be – and it wasn't even a Quentin Grimes game. Who was it that scored a bunch of – was it Dalton that had a big game last night? I didn't watch a second of it, so I'm not going to pretend that I even
watch the Phillies.
Yeah, I watched. Yes, exactly. But they did win last night. In fact, they won. Not only did the Phillies win and the Sixers won, the Flyers won. This is the second time since 1982 that all three teams have won on the same night on the road. If we would have done a road parlay last night, win. Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
Well, and so I know it's a lot that needs to happen, right? You need to A, all three play on the road at the same time, and B, winning on the road is difficult, and C, like you have to have teams that are at least competitive, and that doesn't always happen. And that's a really hard combination of all of those things. But for it to have only happened twice in 43 years is kind of crazy.
No, it's almost impossible, I would say. Almost impossible. All right, so let's get to our parlay. So we're minus 20 now on the season. So we got to get back up. So Tyler, what's your leg here?
Yeah, so I am going to go to the Rays and Angels game today. And I think one of the more underrated pitchers in baseball over the last couple of years is Jose Soriano for the Angels. And I think it's probably because he plays for the Angels that he gets a little overlooked. But he's got 14 strikeouts in his first 12 and a third innings pitched this year. His over-under for strikeouts today is low, it seems. It's 4.5. Now, the Rays are tied for the fewest strikeouts for a team in baseball with 81. So maybe that plays a part. But the line's 4.5. I think it's like -1. It was -127, I believe, the last time I checked. It's now down to 157. So I'm going to take Jose Soriano over 4.5 strikeouts against the Rays today, and we'll go from there.
All right. The Chicago White Sox lost yesterday. They were going to tie the game. The runner was rounding third. He pulled his hamstring, and it's his first game back since coming off the IL with a hamstring pull. So he comes halfway down the line, and he's just, you pull your hamstring, you're done. And he gets tagged out, and he kind of just bent, he just gets on his knees. And just like, I can't believe that just happened. So do I think they're going to bounce back from that? I don't. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Guardians on the money line, -245. So a $50 bet will pay us $66. So it's not a lot, right? Because I'm taking a bigger, but fit. So we're trying to get on the plus side. So Guardians money line, and then the over on the strikeouts. So there you go. That's our BetParx parlay of the day.
The Sox haven't won in April. So their last win was March 31st. They're 0-7 in April.
We knew they were going to be bad, but maybe not this bad.
Well, so last year, what'd they lose? 20 something it was. I mean, I think they broke the modern record for 162 games. I don't think they're going to be, I didn't think they were going to be quite that bad, but they're trending in the wrong direction early in the season again.
They sure are. All right, let's come back. We're going to come back with Jason Myrtetus. I've known Jason for a long time, and we talk about it in the interview, but his health had not been good, and then he got the diagnosis of having for a while, and he got the diagnosis of having cancer. We talk about it coming up. NHL.com did a really, really good story on him about his journey, because he's actually this morning, he's probably sitting right now getting his chemo. We talked to him yesterday. So we'll talk to him coming up right after this. Philly with John Marks back in 2 and 2. All right, GLAT Hair Restoration. Yeah, I got the hat on today. I actually have but I have my buddy Mark Feldman from BetParx Casino. He was down at a Phillies game, and he had the hat on, and because he's like mostly bald, and he had it like this. So this is all scalp, all head, right? And it's sunny out. He gets the bald guy hat sunburn. So he's got a strip of sunburn right here, right? It's like, man, if you would have went to GLAT Hair Restoration, you'd have a full head of hair, and that wouldn't have happened, right? No, but seriously, GLAT Hair, experts in the industry, over 30 years of hair. It's all they do, hair experience. Their hair team, most experienced that you're going to find anywhere. So maybe you're in an algorithm like me on Instagram where you get a lot of hair reads, or you're getting the guy, it's like, hey, look at my hair. And he's using the shampoo. And it's like, wow, your hair is perfect. Where's your before picture? Oh, there isn't a before picture. So use your eyes and trust what you see. When you look at my before and after pictures, you can look at my before and after pictures. They're not doctored. They're actually on my Instagram, right? They're my real pictures. So if you're thinning, if you're balding, if you're bald, that's different stages of hair loss. And GLAT Hair Restoration has something for everybody in all stages of hair loss. The experts in the industry, whether it's hair restoration, whether it's PRP and stem cell, vitamin supplementation is really, really big these days, and it's really, really effective. So get to GLATHairMM.com. That's GLAT hair mm.com. Everything that they do, my before and after pictures, you can get a lot of great information. Or if you want to text them at their office, you can text or call them at 610-980-4000. Here's how you can remember. Think about me saying 610-980-4000. 610-980-4000. Text them. GLATHairMM.com. That's how you get a hold of them. All right. I love Empire today so much. I want to talk about him again. Because we talked about Black Gritty with the pit bulls running around. It's like, oh, I need new flooring, right? So one of the things you can do when you buy a home, right? Like I bought a home and it needed to be updated. And the bones were solid, but it's like, your floors are 20 years old, your carpets are 20 years old, your kitchen, your bathroom, whatever. But the great thing about that, it increases the value in your home. You're getting sweat equity. The problem with me is that I can sweat, but I putting flooring in. Are you crazy? Right. So I didn't, and I wouldn't have went to a big box store and try to get something on the cheap, or say, hey, let me try to save a few bucks with Larry down the block because I hear he puts floors in. You get the best of both worlds with Empire today. You get the experts in the industry because that's all they do, flooring. So don't go with a company that's, then you go and you pick out some flooring. You're trying to pick out some flooring and you get a worker from that's selling dishwashers that comes over to help you because there's not enough people working, right? Empire today comes to you. They show you everything that they have. They take a look at your space. There's software out there where it's like, okay, let me take measurements. Here's what it'll look like, right? In your home. They come to your home. You know what it's going to look like in your home. And you're saving money. When all you do is flooring, guess what? You sell a lot of floors. You sell a lot of carpeting. And that's going to get you great pricing, right? EmpireToday.com. Schedule a free in-home estimate. They're flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals. They're focusing on flooring every single day. That's all they do. They'll coordinate everything for you. You can even get installation as soon as the next day. That's pretty quick. $350 discount with code PHLY. For full details, visit EmpireToday/PHLY. EmpireToday/PHLY. All right, we're back. Philly, John Marks, Jason Myrtetus. I spoke to him, my old buddy from the Fanatic. I spoke to him yesterday. Here's our conversation. You can come back to me if we need to right here. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. Do you remember back in the day when there wasn't graphics and then you would just get a boop and you would have the screen with a bunch of different colors on it? We're experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by. All right, we're back. It is Philly with John Marks, and joining us right now, making his debut on Philly with John Marks. This is episode 149. We've done 149 shows. I don't keep track of that, but Ty Lazuli told me Friday is 150, so 150 minus 149, is an old buddy of mine. Old buddy, old pal. He's now Mr. Flyer. He does a daily Flyers podcast, pre and post game on the broadcast. Also, he does other hockey broadcasts as well. His name is Jason Myrtetus. What's up, Jason?
149 episodes it took you to get me on. It's an outrage.
Well, I asked you. But you were dealing with some medical issues, which is a big reason why I'm bringing you on today. Because, listen, I can see you have a screen in the background for the Flyers broadcast network, and you live hockey, you breathe hockey. And you have the All G's podcast now with Harry that's on the Crossing Broad network as well. When is that?
That's whenever I feel well enough to do it.
Right. Which isn't often these days, huh?
No, well, it hasn't been for a while, a long time now. Yeah.
So Jason and I still stay in touch on a regular basis, right? We text and forth about stuff. And he wasn't feeling great for a long time. And it's like, I'm going to see this doctor. I'm going to see that doctor. This is wrong. That is wrong. And then I don't even know how long it took, man. But finally you're like, yeah, I have cancer.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap, man. Like, not to make it about me or about anybody else, but when you say something like that, the first thing I think of is, well, holy crap, like, what would I do if that was me, right? You start thinking about your kids, you start thinking about your family.
Yeah.
Right. And then I think about you. You have 3 younger children. I know they're getting older, actually. So tell us what's going on with your health. It's colorectal cancer. Is that what it is?
Yep. Yeah, I have a 5 centimeter, or I had a 5 centimeter tumor that was found in a colonoscopy in what's called my sigmoid descending colon. And which is good because it's a little bit north of the rectum. So that's a good thing. I had the colonoscopy got moved up. It was originally supposed to be in mid-February because and I literally tried to book that in August. That's the earliest I could get it. They moved it up into December when I ended up in the ER because I was having some pretty bad GI issues. And I was having GI issues for about 2 years. And like looking back now, like all the warning signs were there, but I chose to ignore them and try and die. I was like Google doctoring, trying to find it be something else than what it ended up being, whether that was Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis or IBS or whatever, bacterial infection. Figured like my eyes were good like 6 years ago. Now I have to wear glasses. I was like, my gut's just aging, right? Or food allergies that are becoming an issue. But I knew, if I was being honest with myself, even back before I was diagnosed, that it could be, cancer. And so I wasn't totally shocked when the doctor called me on that Friday at 4:44 in the afternoon and told me. But it'll still buckle your knees that, hearing that word associated with yourself. And the first thing I did, I obviously went and talked to my wife and told her, and she wasn't shocked either. And then I had the wherewithal to come down to my studio and record something right away. When I just found out, because I just wanted to memorialize that moment, because I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with it. I still have it, but I don't know what I'll do with it. But I wanted to memorialize it in some way, because I had to figure out right away, like, what am I going to do about this? Am I going to sit here and go, woe is me? Or how do I fight it? And how do I give it purpose? So what I decided very early was I was going to try and help other people avoid it, like, and not do what I did and not listen to your body. So that's kind of how it started. As far as where I am now, 6 chemo treatments into a cycle of 8, which is every other week. So 16 weeks. I go back on Thursday for treatment number 7. Then I'll get about a month off. We'll do some new scans, and I'll go into chemo, pill, and radiation for about 5 weeks, every 5 days a week. And then we'll see where we are and if I need surgery or not. But it's been a brutal journey, and it's beat me up pretty good, taking a lot out of me, but it's given me a lot too. So that's part of the good thing, that it's really kind of restored my faith in humanity in a lot of ways, with the way the community has kind of helped me and rallied around me and my family.
Yeah, there was a big article that I saw on NHL.com that they did about you and how you're fighting it just like a lot of people would expect you to fight it. When you get that call from the doctor, like you said, what does he say? Right? Like, is it very matter of fact, hey, everything came back, you have cancer? Does he say this is the type of cancer? Is it like, how deadly is it? Like, how does he describe it to you when you take that phone call? Do you even remember?
Yeah, the phone call? Vividly. He called and he said, hey, it's Dr. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. But I liked him prior, in dealing with him. He did my colonoscopy and he came and talked to me after it. We found 3 polyps, we removed them. We did find a mass. We took a sample and we're going to send it off. And when he called me, he said, hey, it's actually, I got the results of the biopsy, and it is cancerous. It is malignant. And he said, it's, 5 centimeters. Here's where it's located. Very, very just above board. It was, not with a ton of emotion that he says it. And
right.
And he asked me if I had any questions, and I asked him some questions. And there's only so much he can answer as a GI doctor.
Sure.
He's not a cancer specialist. And then, just told me kind of, who to contact and what to, next steps. And that was it. It was a 5-minute phone call. And
And then you got to then you got to get an oncologist, and then you got to take those next steps.
Yeah. Then you got to get in your network and figure out, your oncologist, your radiation oncologist, and decide on a treatment plan, which mine was suggested to me by my oncologist, who I love him, Dr. Altman. He's great at Penn Medicine, and his assistant Heather's awesome. And he suggested to be very aggressive because of my age. I'm young. I have a lot of runway of life ahead of me, hopefully. And by their bar, relatively in good fitness. So I could handle a lot. So we're being very aggressive. But he also said, that means it's going to be brutal. We're going to hit you, and we're going to hit you hard with the idea of it being curative to get rid of it, number one, and prevent it from returning, number two. So I opted for it. I signed on the dotted line to do it, and it's delivered on being brutal.
Yeah. So tell us. So I really cancer, and honestly, I haven't talked about this publicly, but my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. I don't know, a couple months ago now. She's went through the radiation, so she's finished with that. So now they have to wait and see, and then perhaps more radiation or whatever they're going to do next. But I've never really dealt with any cancer in my family. We've been very fortunate to where we haven't had somebody. Now I've had friends, I've had coworkers, I've had people in my life that have had it, but I like firsthand dealing with it. I haven't had to deal with, thank God. And I'm sure one day I'm going to have to at some point. But what is chemotherapy like for you? Like you said, you're having a very aggressive form of chemo. I text with you and ask you how you're doing, and you will give me a very detailed explanation on exactly what's going on with you. And it seems like that they're giving you so much chemo. They're giving you literally so much that they're trying to kill the cancer just by keeping you alive, like a little bit. Like, so what is
a lethal dose that's not finishing the job? Yeah.
Right. So what is it? So take us through, like, what's the routine and what are you doing with it?
So when I go, and I'll go Thursday at 7:30 a.m., I'll report to the Abramson Cancer Center and Penn Medicine by Chester County Hospital here in Westchester. So it's only 5 minutes from my house, which is great. I'll go, I'll get in there, and I'll check in. They'll bring me back and draw blood. I have a port that was surgically placed in my chest right here that they tap into, so they don't have to hit me on a vein every time. And it's annoying. It's like a little bump, and it's always itchy. So they'll take my blood first, then I'll go downstairs and I'll have an appointment with my oncologist. They'll look at the blood results, and then they'll decide exactly the mixture of the treatment for that week based on the results of my blood. For example, one week I had to have one of them removed, the oxaliplatin, because my platelet count was too low, it was too weak, and they didn't want to not do the treatment. So they just took that part of it out. That's the one that's the most brutal for me. But then when we restarted that in the last treatment, they just had it at a 20% reduction. And then I'll go back upstairs after my appointment and wait to be assigned a chair, and I'll go get a chair. You got chair number 9? Go there. They'll hook up all the chemo stuff to my port again, and I'll be there for about 2 hours getting the first phase of my chemo, my infusion. And then when that's over, they'll hook up a fanny pack with a pump that continues my infusion for another 46 hours. And then on Saturday, they'll come in the morning and unhook me from that and take the pump and all the stuff with it. And, it's surreal. Like the first couple of times I was in there, I get up and go to the bathroom. I'm walking around with the big pole, and, you're looking around and you're like, am I in a movie? Like,
yeah.
Like, how did I get here? And first of all, there's way too many people in there getting treatment. There's so many people affected by it, and it's surreal. Like, it's like you're living someone else's life and you don't have any control. And I don't have a lot of control other than to get up and keep moving. But like the after effects they've been different every time. So I don't know what to expect to a degree, other than I know I'm going to feel like crap. I'm going to be massively fatigued. And when I say fatigue, like we get tired, like we work a lot and you got kids, the whole thing. When I get fatigued, for example, like after I got my last treatment, they unhooked me from the pump on Saturday at 10:30 in the morning. I fell asleep at noon and I woke up on Sunday at 3:15 in the afternoon.
Wow.
I got up 2 times to go to the bathroom, and that was it. I was asleep for about 35 hours. And your body doesn't feel, it's like having the flu every 2 weeks. You get the flu, you start feeling better. You're like, oh, I'm feeling better. But I got an appointment to go get the flu again that following Thursday. And I know it, like that's the mental part of it too that wears you down. You're starting to feel better, but then you knew you got an appointment to start all over again, and it's cumulative, so it gets worse every time, and your body's just beat up. So it's kind of I lost a bunch of weight. I lost like 43 pounds. I've managed to put about 6 back on, because I've been able to eat better, and all my pre-diagnosis symptoms are gone. What was I was dealing with massive constipation. Number of times when I have to try and go to the bathroom upwards of 40 times a day.
Oh my God.
And just trying to go and constantly feeling like you have to go. And that's exhausting. I couldn't sleep more than 90 minutes or 2 hours because I felt like I had to go to the bathroom. And you feel like I felt like I could go, like I could poop a redwood and I ended up with a rabbit turd, never felt satisfied. So that part has been better and helping, but the chemo beats me up pretty good.
I bet. Yeah. You were in bad shape because it was, you're going to see this doctor, you're going to see that doctor. I was in the ER again. And you never want to hear you have cancer, but at least explained everything that was going on with you. But now you're staring down the barrel of, wow, like I have
10 months of treatment. Yeah.
10 months treatment. Wow.
Yeah. And my treatment is deemed, I didn't even know these terms. I knew what palliative meant, like palliative care. But my treatment is kind of deemed curative, with the idea to get you cancer-free and keep you cancer-free. So that's a good thing. I'm lucky. They stage your cancer. They stage it in 3 ways. Everybody thinks they just stage it in one way. But mine is staged as 3B. That's basically, based on the size of the tumor that I have, which is 5 centimeters or larger.
Okay.
Then there's L, which I'm L2, which is because of the proximity to lymph nodes. Like if it was L8, it would be lymph nodes infected and that kind of thing. And then the really important one is the M for metastasis, and I'm M0. So I don't have spread to other organs in the body, which is great. And I'm lucky because I did put it off, even though my body was telling me with a neon sign to go get checked out and get this thing figured out way earlier than it did. So I'm lucky that I found it still before it spread. And thank God I did. So I figured with that luck, I gotta give this purpose. So that's why I went public. I knew that I could help people by being brutally honest about it, and I have been. Like people text me or message me, people I don't know, and say, what were your symptoms? And I'm like, are you asking the question now? Are you sure you want the answer?
Right.
Because they're not pretty. Like my life for 18 months was, I was in a bad place because of my health stuff, and I give it to them. And, I knew people could help me. So I'm a big strength in numbers guy. But selfishly, I knew people could help, would help me as well. I could help them, but I knew that they could help me by going public. And like the support of the community, the hockey community has been humbling. It's incredible. And that has helped me, get through some really dark days because it messes with you mentally too.
Oh, I bet. So
I'm in a good place mentally now because I kind of see a light a little bit. But when you're 2 treatments in and you got 6 more to go and you feel like you're on death's door, it's hard to feel good mentally. I wanted to quit a couple of times. I told my wife, I said, I'm done. I can't keep doing it. Wow. But you just find a way and you keep pushing on. You
texted me, and it was like in chapters. Here's what it's going to be having done. Like, here's the entire thing. And my response back was, wow, that's intimidating. It is. It is. And once you get started, you get into it, then you're like, you know what? Like, all right, like I can do this. I'm almost there. So you're almost there. I mean, you look good. I mean, I can tell that you lost a little bit of weight, but I mean, you must have really been a chunker if you lost 43 pounds, man. You don't.
I've always carried my weight well. So I get that big hockey ass and big legs. That's where a lot of my weight comes from. But right now, I would tell you I have no ass. Like I can't sit on a wood bench with no padding because I feel like I'm sitting on my butt bones.
Right.
But yeah, like I weigh 158 pounds.
Wow. I outweigh you now.
Yeah.
I'm on the lighter side of my fluctuation. Well, I mean, so the message from you is, and I know that this kind of changes. I had a colonoscopy. It's probably about 5 years ago now. I had some issues. I had hemorrhoidal issues, which had some other things, like other GI things. And the doctor said, I don't think it's anything to worry about, but if you wanted to get a colonoscopy, the insurance would probably cover it. And I said, I want to get a colonoscopy.
Good on you.
it's not something you want to worry about. And I remember it was right before the Eagles season. So I said, you know what? Let me get it done in August, because once football season starts, I'm not going to get a break. And I was going down, they put you to sleep with whatever that is. You're asleep for, yeah.
Michael Jackson.
And so it's a male nurse listener. And as I'm counting backwards from 30, he's asking me what I think the Birds are going to do that year.
You get to week 1 and you're out.
But when you wake up and you're like, all right, they're like, well, we're going to send some stuff away. And there was like 3 pops, whatever it was. I don't remember. And they do, they do the work on it, and you get the clean bill, and you're like, yeah, you're good for 10 more years. I mean, I can't tell you how just a weight off your chest and your shoulders. It's like, good. It's not an issue. It's not something you have to worry about, because like you had said, it's so easy just to be like, no, it's not that. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. To where if you get it detected early, it can literally save your life. And luckily you were able to take care of it before it spread. Thank God.
My prognosis would be far different had it spread to my lungs or kidneys or anything else. Totally different. I would be in a different ball game and a whole different tier of this battle. I mean, first of all, when you turn 45, just get it. I was like afraid of the procedure, just a camera up my butt. The procedure is the biggest nothing burger of a procedure. You literally go to sleep. When you wake up, you're not sore. You have no idea they went where they went. So don't even worry about it. The prep.
The worst part's the prep. Yeah. The worst part's the prep.
But every once in a while, you should clean out the system anyway. There was a piece of Hubba Bubba bubble gum that came out in my prep. It was like, I've been in here since 87. You swallowed me in middle school. Every once in a while, you got to clean out the plumbing.
Right.
After you're resetting your phone. But I mean, even the prep is not that bad. It's annoying, and it's not something you're looking to do. But get it done, because the alternative is going down the path that I'm going down, or maybe worse. Right. And dealing with, 16 weeks of chemotherapy, radiation 5 days a week, and everything, and how much it disrupts your life. So the alternative, if you have GI issues, if you're before 45 or have a history, go get a colonoscopy. That's what you can do. And it literally could save your life. That's been the message that I'm getting out there, is because this is preventable. And you don't have to go down this path. You just need to be diligent. If you have any symptoms, don't deny them. Go. And when you get to 45, go no matter what. I had a guy email me with 32 years of age. I don't know this guy. Send me a note, said, I have a history, because of your story and you being public about it, I have a history of GI cancer issues in my family. So I went and I got a colonoscopy. They found 3 precancerous polyps and took them out, and I'm good. Thank you for telling your story. I see that, and it brings me to my knees. Yeah. I'm like, that's why I went public. And I have 15 of those from people, of different age levels. And, so many, NHL.com telling my story in brutal detail. I think that's going to help people. So, and the people have helped me so much. So I owe it. And it's given this whole thing purpose. Otherwise, I'd have crawled in a hole and just looked at every person that looks like and said, why doesn't that guy have it? He treats people like crap. He eats like crap. He drinks every day. Why does that guy not have it? Why? And I do, because I try and live healthy and try and be a good person. I didn't want to go down that road, because I didn't think it was going to serve my energy well to go down that road. So I had to find a good purpose for it. And I think it's changed me forever.
Oh, I bet I can't wait to see after you're done your treatments and you're back. Exactly. You're going to have such an energy for life and ready to just kind of tackle everything. And it's right
Frankly,
there.
I needed it too, because I was complacent in my marriage, in my social life, all that stuff. It makes you look back, and things your priorities are all screwed up. Sometimes you're doing selfish things and not spending time with the people that matter. That stuff, it'll make you reflect on all of it. And those things, you realize what's important when you go through something like this and you're faced with your mortality. Because, I didn't imagine at 52, I just turned 53, that I'd be faced with my mortality at this point. But it's the fight that I'm in right now. So might as well win it.
And like you said, and it's such a great point. A colonoscopy is such a non-big deal. Like you called it a nothing burger. Yeah. It's literally the night before. You clear out your system, you show up to the appointment, and then you're home.
Yeah.
And it's nothing, like literally. And
you don't even know they were there.
You don't even know.
Yeah.
You don't.
I remember the prep. I was doing the prep the night before, and I was in the bedroom. My wife stayed downstairs because she knew I was going to be up and down at the toilet all night. And my wife came in the morning at like 8:00 in the morning. She's like, "How'd it go?" I'm like, "Good." And she looks in the bathroom. She goes, "Where's the basket?" We used to have this basket next to the toilet with like, extra toilet paper and stuff in it. I go, "What basket?" She goes, "The basket in the bathroom." I go, "It's on the front yard." She goes, "Why is it on the front yard?" I go, "Because I didn't get my ass to the seat in time. I pooped on it." She goes, "So you threw it on the front yard?" I'm like, "It's wicker. I can't clean it." I didn't know what to do. I couldn't go more than 6 feet from the bathroom. At one point, I stopped pulling up my pants. So I just go back. But to get everything out is good.
Awesome. Well, listen, I would talk hockey with you, but we'll do that next time.
Yeah, right? I mean, I don't take kindly to losing a winter and a hockey season. I've lost both this year because I've basically been dealing with this since November to a very big degree. But if I'm going to miss a season, this was the one to miss.
That's a good one. Now, see, it's a good question. So how much are you still doing as far as your hockey and the Flyers coverage and everything else when you can, or at this point it's just too much?
No, it's when I can. I've done the last 12 podcasts in a row daily. I've had to skip a few games and miss a podcast. Like I won't do the podcast Thursday night because I know I'm getting treatment that day. I'm not going to be up to it. And Brian Smith steps in for me. So I do it as much as I can. If I'm not feeling well, I don't feel bad about tapping out. And that's hard for me, you know what it's like with what we do for a living. You don't tap out. But I have to listen to my body. So I have, when I can't go, and that's it. I'm really hurting and my voice gets really weak and I just can't do it. So the Flyers have been great with that. Like Torch has been amazing for me. People see him as this hard ass guy. He texted me last night to check on me. And he's been a guy that motivates me through this. It's like he knew how to coach me. Like he doesn't let me feel sorry for myself. Like he knows, like, I'm not going to sit there and let you feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah. Yep. Kick you in the butt.
Yeah. He's been a godsend for me. And, I talked to him last night and people in the, Edzo, who went through this, Eddie Olczyk went through this in 2018. It's been a huge resource for me. Checking in on me and giving me advice, how to handle certain things with this. So it's been a curse and a bit of a blessing. When I get on the other side, it'll change me, but go get those colonoscopies. You don't have to go down this path. I'm going down it, but you don't have to. So just listen to your body.
All right. There he was. That's Jason. Damn. And yeah, like I knew he was having these medical issues. And I'm like, well, Jesus, man, I wonder what's wrong. And then finally he gets the diagnosis. So he is currently getting chemo right now. And if nothing else, you watch this, you said, you know what, maybe it is time to listen to my body, whether it's a colonoscopy or whatever's going on. Just got to do it, man. Just got to do it. Got to be grown up sometimes and just got to do stuff. All right. Well, listen, switch on over to allphly.com. It's overtime. Tomorrow we'll be live in studio, 8 a.m. Do the Phils win? Tyler Zulli, rubber match of the series. Spencer Schwellenbach against Jesus Luzardo.
Yeah, it's a really, really good pitching matchup tonight. I think you're going to get a low-scoring game, although we said pitching duel game 1, high-scoring, not pitching duel game 2, relatively low-scoring. So baseball's ridiculous. Nobody knows, but this is going to be a good one. Schwellenbach hasn't given up a run. Luzardo's, I think, given up, 2 in his first 11 or so innings pitched. Both guys high strikeout numbers. This is going to be a fun one. I think you might see 20 combined strikeouts tonight. Not between the two, but like between the two teams. You might get 20 combined strikeouts tonight.
Yep, 5 combined strikeouts, and the score will be 11-8.
100%. And both guys will get pulled in the third inning.
Chris Sale and Zach Wheeler. It's
me and you are going to be pitching by the end of the game.
Taijuan Walker throws a shutout, and Zach Wheeler and Chris Sale don't look particularly sharp.
Baseball is the dumbest, beautiful game in the world, John.
Sure is. We'll be watching. We're back live tomorrow on a Friday. Everybody have a great day. Remember, subscribe, like, comment. If you watch live, we appreciate you watching live. If you don't and you're watching later on, oh man, like, subscribe, comment on the episode. We appreciate your feedback. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you.
We all silly like the mayor.